NYSPA is reaching out to our Tompkins County members. We would like the following information. We want to know the name of both the prosecutor and judges who are responsible for sex offenders not being incarcerated whatsoever and released back into the community in the streets of Tompkins County, where they have continued to predate on innocent small children and vulnerable people. This is a message from NYSPA to all Tompkins County community leaders, criminal justice system workers, and law enforcement officers. We promise you, we will make sure that you are held responsible for being complicit, encouraging, and fueling the fire of the current sex crimes epidemic that is happening in Tompkins County. In the past week, our intel team has done extensive research on sex offenders, both convicted and unconvicted, within Tompkins County, and this is the overall conclusion to our investigation. For reasons that we do not know, people that are charged with sex crimes in Tompkins County rarely ever do any jail time whatsoever. They are typically given probation, a slap on the wrist, and released right back into the community to reoffend and predate on vulnerable people. Our intel team has been overloaded with targeting requests from various Tompkins community members. Members that do not feel safe going to the police because they feel as though charges will not be brought against their offender, or even if they are, they will most likely be given some ridiculous plea deal that facilitates their release right back onto the streets. That stops now. This is a message from NYSPA to every law enforcement officer, prosecutor, and judge in Tompkins County that has done nothing but fuel this growing sex crimes epidemic in Tompkins County. We are watching you. We will do everything in our power to expose you as the disgusting and corrupt person that you are, living under the guise of being some sort of leader and protector in your community when you are doing the exact opposite. On top of that, we are in the process of building multiple target packets against people that are unconvicted sex offenders within Tompkins County who work jobs like working at the Ithaca High School and being the head coach of the football team, when you are someone who is not only forcefully intoxicated and raped someone in a hotel bathroom, but you had a sexual encounter, multiple sexual encounters and intercourse with an underage girl while working at Ithaca High School, going as far as texting a 15 or 16-year-old student in an effort to receive oral sex in the parking lot of the high school during school hours. Your target packet is being worked on by our Finger Lakes region operator at this very moment, or being the superintendent of the Ithaca school districts and having a reputation of being very inappropriate with underage girls, making a ridiculously undeserved yearly salary when you do nothing but use your position for your own sick benefit. Your target packet is being worked on by our G4 Albany region operator at this very moment as well. Our intel team is gathering all of this evidence together and putting target packets together to forward to our New York State Police Bureau of Criminal Investigations and New York State Police Special Victims Unit partners as we speak. Not any county or local law enforcement departments in Tompkins County, because they simply cannot be trusted. Not to say that there are not some phenomenal police officers and deputy sheriffs in Tompkins County, but when the elected sheriff of Tompkins County is someone that refuses to abide by federal laws and a federal warrant that was issued by our federal law enforcement partners, all simply for his own benefit of making sure to be re-elected for his next term, we unfortunately cannot trust any of his subordinates. Or when the Ithaca Police Department decides to promote an officer to the position of canine handler despite having multiple open investigations against her for negligence and corruption. The community member who made 2 formal written electronic complaints to the Community Police Board has been waiting for months and months to get some sort of response from the Ithaca Police Department on the complaints that he made. He has since been ignored, stonewalled, and BS'd by not only the Community Police Board, but the leadership of the Ithaca Police Department. Or when an Ithaca Police Patrol Lieutenant goes and pulls her taser out on an individual that was not being detained or being taken into custody for anything, then proceeds to tase the vulnerable individual and his dog to the point where the dog was screaming and crying in pain. Then this same patrol lieutenant fails to report use of force, unlawful taser use. The laws regarding taser use in New York State are very clear and strict. This patrol lieutenant willingly and knowingly pulled her taser out on someone and threatened to tase them, then proceeded to tase him and his dog despite him not being detained or not being taken into custody or posing any sort of physical threat. Then when a community member comes forward and has a conversation with one of the community police board members and tells them how an IPD patrol lieutenant went and unlawfully tased a vulnerable individual and his dog, failed to report use of force, and did not offer or provide medical attention for either the dog or the individual, somehow, mysteriously, a few days later, on Tuesday, June 17th, a person was taken into custody for fires that occurred at the Asteria building at 118 East Green Street, Ithaca, Tompkins County. IPD investigators take the same individual that an IPD patrol lieutenant unlawfully tased into custody for mysterious charges of arson when the police chief has since stated that they did not have any suspect in mind for any apparent arson. Then they tell a story that this vulnerable individual's dog was purposely released to attack police officers, the same dog that was brutally tased by an IPD patrol lieutenant, to the point where the dog would panic if a uniformed police officer was ever near them. And now the dog was taken by the SPCA, who was the service dog for this individual, this vulnerable individual. And this vulnerable individual is now being incarcerated at the Tompkins County Jail, where he will soon be shipped off to go to a rehab facility that he does not want to go to because the district attorney's office put together a plea deal in the quickest fashion possible to convict and deport this individual out of the county. This individual, this vulnerable individual who was previously unhoused, who they know cannot afford a private lawyer, so they assign him public counsel, who is most likely just as corrupt as the judges, the prosecutors, the police officers, and those who hold command over such officers and deputies. Now, this is not to say that every publicly assigned counsel is corrupt. That is far from true. The same way that it is not true that every police officer and deputy sheriff is corrupt. But unfortunately, all it takes is for a few corrupt people fueling their own selfish agendas to ruin the reputation of every law enforcement officer that is associated with them, who are actually cops for the right reason. No one hates bad cops more than good cops. Police officers and deputy sheriffs who selflessly put themselves in harm's way to protect the community they serve. Like deputy sheriffs doing everything in their power to get on scene to administer medical care to a one-day-old infant in cardiac arrest, saving the infant and avoiding a mother having to lose her own child. Or deputy sheriffs who moved as quickly and efficiently as possible to stop an active home invasion where someone was under lethal threat. Where a deputy sheriff who was ending her shift heard the critical call go out and immediately got into her patrol vehicle to respond with her comrades to save a person's life. Where someone having a mental health episode was safely taken into custody, saving both their lives and the life of the person in whose house they were trying to break into and attack. Or police officers selflessly putting themselves in harm's way, responding to a stabbing in broad daylight with very limited resources and training, some of whom have less than even a year's experience as a police officer and very minimal training, but nonetheless do everything in their power to position themselves in between evil and the community members in which they serve. These are just a few examples of many. But nonetheless, the level of corruption that has been occurring in Tompkins County is to a level that cannot quite be put into words. Our team of operators at NYSPA have not only worked alongside and with New York State troopers for our entire careers, but we have even embedded with them on operations when the need arises. We respect our New York State police partners because they work at the same level of security clearance, operational standards, and standard operating procedures as the entire team of NYSPA operators do. This is a message to all corrupt community leaders, criminal justice system workers, and law enforcement officers in Tompkins County. We've been tracking this corruption for quite some time. This ends now.